Welcome everyone. Forgive me while I mess with my camera a little bit here and try to get that a little bit more centered the way that I want it to be. There we go. Okay. I hope you guys are doing pretty good today. I know I am. Well, as good as can be, I guess. Let me throw this up here. I am. Sorry, wanted to double check to make sure that my sound was okay, because I'm not at the computer, as you can see. Now, I know normally today is Roguelike Wednesday, but I don't know about you guys, but I am tired, for lack of a better term. It has been a long couple weeks, a couple days. I know that the world is in chaos. I'm not going to get into it because I'm just not going to. But, you know, I finally got everything set up for mini painting, and I said, you know what? I'm painting minis today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and paint some minis. I am not the best painter. I am not the best in the world. Don't consider myself very good, truthfully, but we're gonna have some fun with this today. So what you're looking at is my mat that I use for painting to keep my desk looking very nice. And I'm just gonna rearrange some stuff while I'm doing things here. Take these out of line because we're not gonna be painting those today. We're not gonna paint you today. Put you over there because I want a nice clean work surface here. Okay. Put that up there. Okay. So, this is the first time doing this, so forgive me for any issues we start off with, but we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try this today. So we're gonna be painting three main minis that I have going on right now. And one dropped, so forgive me for a second. Let me find it. There it is. So, the first one we're going to be doing is this armor / weapon stand that I got a while ago. I already primed it. I didn't do a very good job priming it, as you can tell in the back, but that's fine. It's going to work out just fine. And then we're going to do a thing of treasure chests and some treasure. It looks like we got like some scrolls there too. A few baskets. We're going to be painting that one. And then we're going to be painting this T-Rex that I picked up. This is a 3D printed T-Rex that I went ahead and I primed already. As you can tell, it's grayish, gray-whitish, but it was on deal because the tail was missing from it. It didn't print fully. So, we're going to have some fun with this guy. This guy's going to be my next favorite one to play with. So, as we go through, I'll explain what I'm doing. I'll explain how I'm doing it. So that way, hopefully, if you guys want to try something like this, you can. But we're going to do a couple things with this. So, I need to kind of reorganize some of the paints and get stuff around a little bit better. And then we'll get going here. Forgive the mess because I am partially colorblind. I am technically color deficient. I'm not color blind, but I'm color deficient is what I call myself. So, we're going to be using a mixture of paints today. We're going to be using two different brands. We're going to be using the Citadel brand. The Citadel is what I first started with. They're okay paints. Not my favorite, not my least favorite. They work pretty well. It's what is the official Warhammer 40k paints are. But they're okay. And then we're also going to be using some Warhammer paints. So I have two different kind of sets here. We might do a little bit, if I need the color, we might do some of these D&D prismatic paints that I've got and everything. So we're just gonna kind of go with it and stuff like that. But I got everything prepped and ready to go. So we're gonna start off here. I'm also a very unconventional painter. I am very different than what a lot of other people are. Like I said, I don't consider myself a good painter. I don't consider myself even close to being a good painter. But I paint for myself. I enjoy painting a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very soothing for me. So we're going to do that. First thing I have is I have this wet palette. This keeps your paints wet, and I actually need to put a piece of paper on it. Army Painter makes these. This is one of the brands that they use. I really like it. It's really nice. It keeps your paints moist if you're gonna like cover them up for a couple days and stuff. You get one of these. It's called a wet palette, and it comes with a bunch of these very thin, almost wafer-like papers that help retain moisture up towards your paints to keep them wet. So that way you don't have to really worry about them drying out and everything. So, I got one of these things here. Yep, I do. So I will lay it on. I'll kind of press it down a little bit, kind of let the moisture take it down and press it down for me so that way it doesn't curl up. Set that off to the side here. Another tool in my trade I have is I have these glasses. These are magnifying glasses. This one is this one is plus 1.75, and I have another set here that is slightly stronger. I think this one is a plus 2. So I'll use these to do like fine detailing. So like when we get to the point where I'm gonna do like the rivets and stuff on these treasure chests, I'm gonna put these on to help me see because it helps. And then I've got a few other tools of the trade, and I'll explain how they go, what they are and what they're not. And then gotta have the handy dandy piece of paper to wipe off your paintbrush with. I use just generalized can't remember, paper towel. Thank you, paper towel. So let's see here. Okay. We're going to go ahead and start off. We're going to start off a little boring, but we're going to start off with these treasure chests. Now, I kind of paint unconventionally, so we're going to switch between the three depending on what needs to dry, what is already dried, etc. So these treasure chests, at least the bottom ones, we're going to start off with a dark brown. So my dark brown that I've got that I use is called... it's called this one. Yeah, it's called Rhinox Hide. It's from Citadel. Gotta shake it up. Make sure that's gonna be nice and mixed up and everything. Let's see here. Do I have any? Actually, do I have any other brown? Not brown either. Sorry, guys. I am find a better brown. I do not have a better brown. Okay. Oh, we got leather brown. Okay, so we're going to do kind of a mixture here. We're going to start off with the Citadel paint. Now, I have a little scoopy here. This is for like textures and stuff from Citadel. I use it as a paint mixer and a paint grabber because we're going to take some of this and we're just going to put it on our paper. We're going to grab some more and put it on our paper over here. So that way I have some brown. Now I did a bunch of brown because we're going to be using a lot of it. We're going to do depth and kind of semi-realness here is what I'm looking at. But the main thing is we're going to be using some depth. And as you can see, the paper has paint on it already, which is perfectly fine. And then some highlights. We're going to do some leather brown with that. I got this one's called Death Claw Brown. So we're going to kind of layer these on to give it some depth and give it some realism. on how it came to be, and we even have some this Mooring Fang Brown. Now, base, layers, I'm not 100% sure what they mean. As you can see, this one says base, this one says layer. Each one means, like, you know, you put this on first and you layer this on top so that way it does different effects. I'm not very good at it because I just like to paint. And I know that some people are very picky about that type of stuff. I just paint. So, we're going to grab just a simple brush here, get it wet. Off. And we're actually going to transfer something here because I want to use this. So I usually have 2 or 3 minis going at a time because I like to make sure that I can continue painting when something's drying. So we're going to grab this one here. It's going to be this. So there we go. I did not know that was in there. Awesome. That's going to be helpful for later. Does that mean this one has it too? Sorry, I just discovered that one of my hobby holders has some sticky tack in it because I needed some. Oh, that's cool. That's good for later. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and grab our brush. We got it dried off and everything. And we're going to start. You guys are going to hear a lot of noises. I'm going to constantly be shifting stuff, moving stuff around, trying to figure out the best way to do this for everyone so that way I have enough room to do everything. So we're just going to grab very little bit on the brush and we're just going to go across here. We're just going to cover up. I'm not going to worry about the rivets. I'm not going to worry about anything else. I'm just wanting a base coat on here to make sure that I have something to paint on. And we're going to constantly keep the brush full. And I'm going to keep going here. And we're just going to paint everything here. Now I'm going to go back in later to do the details, but I want to get this set up first. Now the reason I have these hobby holders is, one, I have giant hands. And when you're painting something small, they're very helpful. Now, if I'm going to hit the bottom of these other treasure chests, that's fine, because we're going to go with like almost like a weathered look here. And the one thing you do have to worry about the wet palette is it does water down your paints. I typically do not water down paints, so as you can kind of see, it's kind of beating up and everything like that. Which is fine. I actually might take it out of the wet palette and just put a piece of paper down because I'm not sure how well I like that, but we're going to keep going here. If I've put any extra on, I'm going to go ahead and just come back and just take some of it off, and we're actually going to do something different here because I'm not liking this. So we're actually going to take that off. So I'm not liking how it's beating up. Excuse me. I'm not liking how it's beating up on my mini, because as you can see, it's like leaving little spots open, and I don't like that. So we're just gonna take it off of the wet palette. Keep it like that. So we're just gonna keep going across here. Yes, this looks very dark for being a chest, but there is a method behind my madness. So I'm gonna get a nice base coat layer here. And someone called me. I don't want to answer the phone. Sorry about that. Keep getting all the little nooks and crannies here. Now, if there is like some things that are being covered in terms of like details and stuff, I'm going to blot my brush out, and then I'm going to go back over it to pick up any extra paint. This helps with my drying process. And if you want more of like a streaked look, it helps with that also. But there we go. We got the first base layer done. Go ahead and wipe off the brush here. So this is what they call a, I'm not sure what kind of brush they call this, but as you can see, it's kind of like all messed up. The bristles are all pointing in different directions and stuff. I use it just for brushing in general on everything. So now I'm not sure if I want to do the top in that color, and I think I'm going to, except for this portion right here. I'm not going to do that to this portion because this is going to be a different color totally. This is going to be more like a tan color. So I'm not going to do that to this, but I think I'm going to do the rest of it in that brown. So we're just going to go ahead and come up across the top here and just do the rest of it. Now I know that I covered up a lot of the scrolls and stuff in this brown, but I'm going to go back over it with a tan so it's going to look more aged. And we're just going to hit the edges of this scroll to make it look a little aged and stuff like that. So there we go. Now we're not going to hit this portion right here yet. We're going to come back to that. So we're just going to go across the rest of this here. I'm going to accidentally hit the gold. Crap. Oh well. That's fine. So we don't have to totally hit the tops of these scrolls, but I'm going to. There we go. That's what we're wanting right there. All the little nooks and crannies. Now we're probably gonna have to go back in later to get more brown and everything like that, but that is perfectly fine because we're gonna definitely miss some spots and we're gonna see them as we continue painting. I'm gonna push it back on my base here because it's on any sticky tack. There we go. The back side of that. Get all these little spaces that beat it up on us and messed. There we go. Okay, I think that's fine for right now, so we're going to set that off to the side. And we're going to start on another one. So, our next one here is going to be our shields. Now, I'm going to be using a different stand for the shields. This is version 1 of the hobby holder. I joined these guys on Kickstarter when they first started off. But he's got 2 different versions that I really like. This is the more beefy version for people who've got bigger hands. This is the smaller version. This is good for people who have like really small hands and maybe like can manipulate and don't have like arthritis in their hands. It's really good. But you can hold it and turn it just like that, so you don't have to constantly flip it back and forth. So it's really nice. And you can do the same thing on the other one. The other one I just don't, but you can sit there and kind of like turn it. It's just really hard on this one. So you can sit there, grab it, and kind of turn it a little bit. It's just easier for me to rotate it in my hand. So, okay. So how we're going to paint this one? Well, we got some shields, we got some weapons, we got armor, we got helmets. So, best way I've seen to do these is we can do it one of 2 ways. We can either start from the bottom and go up to the top and just paint little details, or we can start by color. Now, in terms of doing it by color, we can. But how we're going to start? We can start with bronze because we can paint the shields and like that in a base bronze. We can paint some of this armor in a base bronze and then go back over it with silver for like the details. So why don't we start doing that? So we're going to use this Warp Lock Bronze. Actually, no. I think we're going to use a different one. We're going to use this one. So this is one of the Warhammer Mini. Yep, Warhammer paints that I got. I got this one in a kit. And you can hear it. It has a ball on it to help mix it as you shake it. But this is going to be a metallic bronze. Do we have a slightly darker one here? Copper, cobalt metal, plate mail. So this is the part that stinks about being so colorblind. So we got true copper, we got weapon bronze. And I think we're gonna start off with the weapon bronze. I think that's what we're gonna do, because I don't think we want that dark of a bronze. So we're gonna mix this up, and we're gonna do a little bit of paint on there. Now I've discovered that Warhammer is just slightly more liquidy than what Citadel is. Now I normally have my paints, I don't thin my paints at all, just because I never have. So it might, you know, depending on what you want to do, you might want to change it up, you might want to thin them. I just don't. I don't like thinning them because it's another step. It's mostly just me being lazy. So we're gonna grab this very small brush here. The one that we're going to use. Get it wet. And we're going to dry it off the best that we can. Grab some paint, and we're just going to go in here and we're going to start layering it on. Now, I'm going to paint the whole entire shield this color. We're just gonna keep going. You guys hear the pitter patter of feet? It's my dog. So we're gonna come back in to these little grooves right here, and I don't know why this keeps beating up, and that's not making me very happy. I might actually have to get a different piece of paper because this is just beating like crazy, and I don't understand it. So let's do that then. Why it is. So we're just gonna keep coming in. You know, I really hope different music is playing in YouTube music because I cannot hear it. Do these back shields back here. I wonder if it's the Mini that's causing it to do that. Because these aren't like these are different Minis than I normally paint. This is my first time painting these ones, so just gonna keep going around here. Go right there. Get this back shield back here. I think that's all the shields that's on this. Now, normally if I do that, I don't worry myself too much with it. It just happens. You know, I'm not too concerned about overpainting something because stuff happens, so I don't bother about it. You know, I try to be careful, but if it happens, it happens. It's fine. So, okay, so we got those. I think we're going to change to silver here. Get the silver out, and I think we're going to do... So we can do shining silver. Ooh, we can do cobalt metal. So we're going to do cobalt metal to begin with, because I really like that idea. I think that's going to look really good. Kind of put the ones that we're using up here. So we're going to come back with the shining silver, but we're going to do this cobalt metal first. Give it a good shake. I'm going to go ahead and just put... Ooh, I made too much. Too much. Because it was clogged. Mixed very well. So when you're painting and you're doing two different styles of painting, you want to keep your glitter paints away from your normal painting water. So we're actually going to get another second jar here. This is one of my water jars. I'm going to fill her up. So this one will become normal paints, while the red and gray one that I'm going to move will become our glittery paints. So, okay, let's grab this back. We're going to grab some of this cobalt metal, and we're just going to slather this on all of these shields. All this armor here. And it is beating up even more, because why not? But we're going to do all of this armor, and then we're going to come back over with the silver. That's what we're going to do. Yep, we were even going to do the back side. So we're going to go in kind of a top-down approach. So what we're doing is we're still kind of doing what we want. What's going on with these paints? Because I am not happy with them right now. Sorry guys, hang on a second. For some odd reason, these paints are like super duper liquidy, and I can't tell if it's the mini or if it's the paint. I'll blot that dry. And here's what we're gonna do. We're actually gonna take this guy right here. And I'm just gonna do this. And just do this on the bottom of the foot. See what happens. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's the mini. So for some odd reason, the paint is beating up really well on that mini, which is really weird. I've never seen it do that before. Kind of used our T-Rex here. Tester. So we're just gonna have to keep trying here. So hopefully some of these details won't get lost then, because we might have to paint it on very thick. But we're just gonna keep trying here. We're just going to cover the whole entire thing. We're not going to worry about the handles. Well, I'm not going to get down in here, and I'm going to try to avoid like this handle right here. I'm going to try to avoid that. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you could see me in the camera. So we're going to try to avoid like the handles and stuff like that. But we're going to go ahead and just keep going here. I'm going to flip her over. I mean, we're definitely gonna have to come back through and hit this all over again. But I think that's gonna have to be how it is with these minis. I'm not the biggest. I'm not too happy with them, but hey, they're minis. Keep going here. And we're gonna purposely miss the weapons, I think, is what we're gonna do here. I also wonder if it's my priming job, if I didn't do a good enough job priming, and that's very possible, because these are not primed very well. But that's fine. Again, we're just painting to relax here today, folks. We're just having some fun with it. Careful not to hit our shield that we just did. Come back in here with like that. There we go. Kind of blow on it a little bit to get it dry. Hit all the little nooks and crannies here. Get the back side more here. Okay, so we're going to put that off to the side also to make sure that it can start drying. We're going to pay attention to our brushes here. Nice and dry. Put it back. Oopsie. Careful, boys. Okay, we can start on our T-Rex here. So, the T-Rex we can do one or two things with. We can paint him realistic, which is kind of what I'm leaning to. Or, we can paint him totally non-realistic. But I think we're going to go for a little touch of realism here. I did not know I could do that. That's not fun. So we're going to go with greens and tans. So we're going to start with dark green across the top of his body. And I don't think I have any dark green. Brown. So we got angel green and we got this Calabrine green. It's about the same shade. This one looks slightly darker. So, and how we're going to do this is we're going to do a top-bottom. We're going to do a top to the bottom approach here for his belly. So as you can see, it's not, for some odd reason, it's not flow dry right there. That is really weird. I think the resin's having issues with it. Weird. So we're going to start at the top along his spine. We're not going to paint the head. So from the neck forward, we're not going to touch yet. But his spine and his tail down, we're going to layer different shades of green. So we're going to start off here with this green, because this one looks darker slightly. I think, anyway. Yeah. So we're going to start off with this Calabrine green. Shake it up. Pop her open. And we're just going to take directly from the pot. We're not going to bother transferring it. So we're going to grab him by the head, and we're going to do what I like to call down and dirty painting, where we don't really care about where we're putting it as long as it's getting on the mini. Well, we care about where we're putting it, but we don't care about technique. So we're going to just start along the spine here. We're going to hit every little crevice, as much as we can get in there. And as we go across, as you can see, that's a really nice green, actually. I really like it. And we're just going to go across the top of the tail here. Just one brush stroke. So we're only going to be a brush stroke wide. Maybe a little bit more, especially down towards here with the body. But we only want to be one brush stroke wide along the tail. And we're going to kind of get it symmetrical here. Not necessarily, mostly because in nature nothing is really symmetrical. But we're going to just do it just like that. And we got to trust the process on this, okay? So we did that green, and we're only going to do just quick. We're not going to do much. And we're going to use our one pot right here that is the clean pot for regular paints. And then we're going to take this angel green. So yeah, angel green. Give it a quick shake here. And we kind of want to do this while it's still wet. Mostly because we want to... And this one's clogged. Pause, please. There we go. Put it right there. I'm not going to put much because we don't need much. Sorry, guys. There we go. There we go. Back. We're going to put it with our other paints. So we're kind of doing a set here. We're doing like our chests, our suits and armor and weapons. And then over here on this side we have our dinosaur. We're going to load up with this green, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to go straight down. And this effect right here is going to let us blend these two colors in, because this is how he would be in nature. Is he would have different shading because of his camouflage. At least I believe so. I could be also not right at all, but, you know, I'm not 100% sure because I just enjoy this. This is a lot of fun. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Go straight across like that. This one might require more than one layer just because of the way that the Mini is shaped and how this paint is going onto the Mini, which is fine. And we're actually going to change brushes here because that brush is too small. There we go, that's better. We're just going to go straight down, grabbing up more of this paint. Yeah, this is going to have to require another layer, which is fine. But we kind of want to like make it look like it's being blended in together. So, kind of like that. Go across. Do the same thing here. We're gonna have to put some more on the paper. There we go. I don't want to be too much, but I think we're gonna use this because I like this green. We're gonna do this green a lot more on his body. As like a primary color, I think, because I think this green's gonna look really good. And we're gonna go like that. I think we're gonna cover the tail too in it. Just gonna go just like that. Now, as you can see, when I put it on thick, it covers that the whiteness of the paint. But as I brush it across, it's not going to, which is fine. We're gonna trust the process here. We're gonna pick up all the extra stuff, make sure none's like totally keeping it up. Get some more here. I'm gonna grab them by the feet so I got a better grip. I'm gonna hit all these little spikies. And we're gonna kind of go back and forth here to see where his green's ending up. And I think we're gonna go like that is what we want. But we're gonna take the paint and we're gonna pull down. Just like that. So yeah, you can see that there is a distinctive line, but at the same time, you have to kind of like double check yourself because it looks like it's almost being blended in. And that's kind of what we want. We want it to be blended in. We're going to have to let this guy dry though, so that way we can come back with this green and hit him again. This is what we'll do here in a minute, because I want to just make sure we got all these little nook and crannies. Sorry guys, I know I'm not quite in the camera here. We're a learning experience with this today. There we go. Nice looking T-Rex there. Grab him right ahead and put him off to the side. Okay. Let's clean our brushes here. Get our brushes nice and clean. Same thing with this one. Okay. Sorry guys, I just wanted to check how the stream's doing. I don't have quite access to my computer and I can't like see very well. I have to turn around and everything like that, so. Okay, now we're going to look at this one, see if it's dry. It looks like it's mostly dry, maybe a little tacky, but that's kind of what we want. So, we're going to go with this leather brown. And then we're going to go with another brown here, if I can find it in my head. Then we're going to go with this base Morning Fang brown. So we got two different browns here. I think we're going to go with the Morning Fang brown first because it's slightly darker. Because, again, we're wanting to layer it. Give it a good shake. I'm going to paint right out of it. Now, we're going to go in with our smaller one this time. Actually, I might grab a different one here with this. Grab one of these chips. There we go. Yeah, we'll go with this one. Okay. So, we're going to go with this small one right here that we got. We're going to wet it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at where we're at. So, we need to hit this area right here with that brown. So, we're going to do that right now. So, hopefully by the time we get there, it'll be nice and dry. There we go. Same we're just gonna kind of like clean up our little mess here. Get it going here. All these little nooks and crannies that we've got. There we go. Okay, we're more or less brown. Hang on a second. Get more of these little areas here. There we go. Okay, that's better. Oh, I rinsed it off in the wrong one. Oh well. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're actually not gonna use that brush. I changed my mind because we need to do what's called dry brushing. So this is the technique I really like. This is called dry brushing. So we're gonna wet our brush. Now, dry brushing is typically done with a very old brush. This is one of the first ones I've ever bought. It's actually almost dead. But as you can see, the bristles are all torn apart. It's half frozen with how much paint was from in it and stuff. It's discolored. So what we're going to do is we're just going to barely touch our paint. Get as much extras off as we can inside the pot. And then we're just going to dab it on our paper towel here. Then we're going to grab it. And we're not going to press hard. But what we're going to do is in these little areas here, we're just going to brush it on slightly, like that. As you can see, there's a slight contrast. So I want to dab a little bit more off, and we're going to do the same thing. Just going to brush it off, brush it on. You're going to barely see a difference. But that's kind of what we want. We want to kind of keep that difference going here. And we're going to skip doing it to the rolls. But, dab it off. And we're going to do it to these chests right here. And we're just going to do it to the whole entire thing. We're not pressing hard. What we're doing is I'm not even trying to color everything in. I'm just putting the brush down. And just going in there, because I don't want to hit everything at once. I want to keep the dark shapes. So if you look really close, it's kind of hard to tell. But as I'm doing this, it's still noticeable that it was a different brown. So it's like this has been aged. This has been, stuff's been changing in it. Maybe they've been down here a while. You don't know. Go through here. Make all these little treasure chests. Make sure we get all sides. Now, see right there, I had a little bit of white showing. I just pressed down a little bit. That's fine. Again, this isn't a perfect process. I'm not the best painter, but we're having fun with this, and that's the point. Keep going here. We're gonna grab a little bit more. Now you notice I'm going to the pot to my paper towel, getting a lot of it off, and maybe we press a little harder on this side because these are at the top. This is where the light's at, so we've been getting hit by the light more. But I will also go back and I'll dab in the spots I've already dabbed to pick up any extra that might be laying around there. So now it looks like it's been weathered almost. So you can see there's a little bit more brown. So we're going to let that dry, because then we're going to go in with this leather brown. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it even lighter. Because again, we're building those layers, keeping everything going up. You don't really have to make sure that this brush gets dry, because we're going to just use it again for the same purpose. We're going to put it off to the side now. Now we come back to the suit of armor to see how dry it is. Okay, it looks pretty good. I like it a lot. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get these little fine details in here. We're going to start off with... I think we're going to start off with a shining silver. Ooh, we missed this whole entire portion. We need to hit that portion first. So let's do that. Maybe the shield right here is silver this time too. Cover that all up right there. There we go. We're gonna go ahead and hit up the axe head because axes are not shiny. They're more of a dull silver. That's fine. Again, on a mini like this, it's important to look at it from every angle and hit up, because there are some spots you're just never going to be able to get, or you won't see if you don't move it around a lot. So, and I'm also kind of doing a mixture of my own. I'm not sure what any of these techniques are called. I'm going to tell you that flat out. But I also like to do like a dab technique. So I'll take the very tip of my brush and I'll just dab it in a spot that needs to be filled in, instead of trying to do a brush stroke, just to keep it more or less okay. That up again. There we go, that's better. Make sure you get the back side of this battle axe too. You hit all the little edges right there. Now again, I'm kind of avoiding the handle. I'm trying to avoid the handle, making sure that stuff's gonna be okay here, more or less. And if you get any on the shields or anything like that, you can go in with another color, with the other color to help pick it up and stuff like that. So, as we'll soon see when I get done doing all these little nooks and crannies, because we got to go back in. The T-Rexes are going to take a few minutes to dry, so mostly because we just quite literally lathered it up in paint. Okay, we're going to set that off to the side because I need to wash off the brush and I need to take a drink of water. Dry spot for our brush here. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got that done, we need to come in with a bright gold color. So this is called Greedy Gold. What we're gonna do... Ooh. Okay then. I think I needed that much, but sure. Container kind of somehow spilled inside the cat. Now that's a lot of paint. That just got wasted. But okay, so what we're gonna do is we're going to take one of our detail brushes that I've got, and there's a lot that you can choose from. This is a brand called Ghost Tiny that I really like. I've done them on Kickstarter a few times now. But this is a very tiny brush right there. Very small. So what we're going to do, and this is where the glasses come in, because I'm going to have the glasses on, and I'm going to be holding it very close to my face. Make sure you guys can still see that. I think you can. There we go. Okay. So, I'm going to grab just the tiniest bit of this gold. Come in here. Now I'm going to put my finger right here, and then I'm going to use my 3 fingers to just go right around this edge, just as gentle as I can. Do it to both sides here. There we go. Do the same thing again. Grab just a tiny bit of gold. Hold it steady. Just gonna pull it down. Just like that. Now, there's not a big difference you can tell. I know that. It's probably not picking it up very well on the camera. But in person, it's a very nice contrast. It's going to be very good when it's dry. That is for sure. We're just going to go straight down here. I'm going to try to follow that line as best as we can. Straight across on both sides. There we go. That actually looks pretty good, I think. Do the same thing to this one. We're going to come back in and paint these rivets a different color that's on the shield. Because I think that's going to look really good. We're just barely hitting it too. This brush is extremely tiny. And we're just barely touching it to the surface. With this whole entire thing. So as you can see, we got excess paint there. So what we're going to do is we're going to clean off our mini brush. And we're going to be very careful on how we clean this. And I just cleaned it in the wrong water. Oh well, that's fine. But we're going to dry it very carefully because we don't want to bend the bristles. Just like that. Okay. Kind of wipe it off with your hand. My hand. We're going to go back in and we're just going to pick up all that extra paint that I just put down. Because I don't want all of it on there. Okay. See how that was? I'm going to go over to this one. Do the same thing. Put just a little bit on the tip of the brush. Come down and around with it. Go to the other side. We got a lot more paint than I expected on there, so we're going to kind of dab it off a little bit. And we're just going to put our finger against there. We're going to bring the brush forward. The other side to connect to the other side and make sure both sides have been hit very well. There we go. Turn it around. Do the same thing to this one. Now this is also a shield, and we're going to do the gold to that shield part of the shield too. But we're going to hit this spot first here. Grab and pull. Grab and pull. There we go. Pull it around. There we go. Really hard to see, but I think it's going to look really good. It's a little bit easier to see on the silver shield. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. I don't have the best I don't have the best camera, that's fine. And those little mistakes that we get where we overbrushed it, we'll just go back in later with the silver and hit it up more. There we go. I like it. I hope that works. I hope the camera picks that up because I think that looks really good. Kind of go around here, double check everything. We're gonna have to come back in with the bronze anyway. So why don't we actually hit that up right now while we can? Take off the glasses because they are not helping. Be careful drying it off. Again. Most of that gold out. There we go. Off. Okay, we're gonna pick up some bronze. We're just gonna go over the few spots not quite correct here on these shields. We're gonna turn it a couple different ways to look at it. Kind of spin it, and while I paint my fingernail. Okay, that looks pretty good. I like how that looks. That looks great. Let's keep that right there. Okay, we're gonna let those small details dry. Mostly because we had to go back over it with the silver, but also I want those details to be dry before we even attempt more. Because we're going to go back in with the shining silver to change it up. Let's go back to the treasure chest. We're not going back to the T-Rex crate yet because it's not quite dry enough. Okay, so as you can tell, it took, but not a lot. So that's kind of what we want though. So now we're going to grab this leather brown, shake it up nice and good. Up. And we're just going to go with we're going to get rid of all this water first. There we go. We're just going to grab just a drop here. A little bit more. Huh. I might need to shake it up more. Bang it on the table a little bit. Let's try it. Doesn't look very brown to me. Okay, I guess that'll work. Unless I have a different brown I can use here. Not really. Brown's one of those colors that I have a hard time using. just because it just never looks right to me. But we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna grab this one, our root one again, and we're just gonna dab the edges of it. We're gonna really get a lot off on this one, and then we're just gonna go back in and just do a couple quick swipes. See how much of a difference that is now. But we're gonna do a little bit more. Just gonna go in there. We're barely even touching it. So what we want is just a little bit on there. We're just bringing out those edge highlights from that other brown. Grab just a little bit more here. I grabbed way too much. Right there. Now on the top, we're kind of going to go ahead and just like that. That's what we want. And we're going to go like that. These other spots. Kind of just bringing out all the browns on this whole entire thing. So now you can see, you see where we kind of pressed hard right there, but in these other spots, go back in for just a little bit more here. These other spots here, just barely hit. We're pressing down, we're hitting them, but you can kind of see the contrast between the two paints. Now, if we really want to, what we can do, if you go back in to this other brown that we've got, clean off our brush here a little bit. Just do the same thing. We're gonna come back in. We're gonna layer a little bit more here. So like we hit that a little too hard. There we go. Kind of go over it. We're not erasing it. We're just softening all those edges up. Make it look like it's been used. Go back to the leather brown because we didn't hit a couple of these sides. These sides right here. All this brown. We're just layering it on again. Go back to the other one and hit the top of it again. So we're kind of creating a depth of field. Maybe this one's like been handled a lot more across the top. Maybe it's been touched more because it's right there. And then there we go. That is how I like to do layering. So that's all nice and layered, I think. We might go back in later with some more of the two browns, but we're going to set that off to the side now. And we're going to go back to our dinosaur. Let's see here. What do I got right now? I cannot see that far. Awesome. So, okay. Now we got this T-Rex here that we're working on. Now, we need to do a lighter green right here, but we need to do almost like a soft light green, which we have this Elysian green, which is okay, I think. We got this green. It's called Hemp Rope. Almost there. And then we got a bluish green, a teal that I don't really like. We got that one. Okay, so we're gonna go with. I think we're gonna go with this Elysian green. We're gonna kind of do this two ways here. We're gonna keep this one out, this Hemp Rope color out, but I'm gonna shake up this one really well. Open it up. So we're going to do this two ways. First thing we're going to do is we're going to grab this Angel's Green that we had, and we're going to just go back over where we were on the first layer here. You know, you can tell. Did I even pick any out? Jeez. Sorry. I couldn't even tell. So we're just going to, there we go. Just on this first layer right here. I'm going to come back to the back side. To this side too. Now we're putting down some wet right here to mix with this Elysian green, because we want to have a contrast and almost like a trail of colors. We don't want solid lines. So now we're going to take this green and we're going to start in the middle, almost on top of where we layered that angel green. We're just going to sweep it in here. Just like that. Wash my brush off, put it in the wrong water as usual because I can't tell the difference. And we're actually going to swap brushes here. I'm going to get our bigger brush out here. Just going to grab this and we're just going to keep doing this. And then as we go down, we're essentially pulling our paint down a little bit. So you see how I picked up some of that other green? We're actually going to do that here. We're just going to pick up a little bit here. I don't like how that turned out. We're just going to kind of like mix it in there. So we're not going to quite hit the tip of the tail, but we're almost going to get there and it's just going to fall off. It's just going to fall off. Okay, flip her over. Do this side. So first things first is we're going to pick up just a little bit more of this green. We're going to start right here. Then we're going to go to our actual green that we're wanting to layer on. I'm just going to keep pulling it towards the head as we kind of pull it down. So let's rinse off our brush here quickly. I did too much on one side. And again, this does not have to be symmetrical and it doesn't have to be perfect because nothing in nature is like that. You know, each dinosaur, we theorize at least, that each dinosaur had a different pattern, had a different, you know, essentially markings and stuff like that. Maybe this one was just slightly different in a couple different areas. So, but I want to keep going just like that. There we go. So we're not doing it heavy, and if we do have a heavy spot, we're going to come in and try to brush it away because I want to keep the scales open. Because we're going to do something really cool when we get closer to being done with this big guy. So, now that we've got that done, now we're just going to come in with this green. We're going to go all the way down to the knee as we pull everything down. Just to where the knee's at. We're going to leave the inside of the leg. We're going to go to the belly, but we're not going to go to the arms. See how I kind of got this one slightly different here, but that's what we want. We want variety. Variety, verity. Just like that. We're not going to quite do the arms, but we're just going to do it just like that. And I'm going to rinse it off quickly. Tip of my brush just came off. Grab a little bit more here, and we're just going to keep coming in here, pulling as much as possible. And I kind of want to almost pull some out if it's starting to pool a little bit. So you can kind of see on this side how we've missed some of the scales. That's fine. Coming in here with a little bit more. I want just a little bit. Again, we're not going to do the inside of the leg yet because that's going to be a different green, different color. It's going to almost be a tan, I think. But just like that. So you see how we got a little bit extra right there? We're just going to do that. There we go. Now, we're not doing the head yet because I'm not 100% sure where I want to color the head in. That's kind of where we're at right now. And I'm liking it. I'm liking how he's looking. I think he's going to look great. And that is blended. So you kind of see how it starts off strictly stark, dark green. And as it comes down, it gets lighter, lighter, until eventually it's going to become this tan color. His belly, we're going to paint more of a tannish color. I think we're going to use this hemp rope almost off of it. Or I got this lighter green that we can use, tannish that we can use on it. But you can kind of see how we've blended it in and stuff like that to make it a color gradient. That's what I'm wanting to go for. So we're going to set him off to this side, let him dry. Take a drink of water. Make sure close that very hard so that way it doesn't get out. Okay, here comes the fun part. Now we need to concentrate on this. So first things first is we're going to do this top, and I think we're going to do this in this leather brown because it almost looks like a leather scroll. Maybe not. Check that, change that, we're not going to do that. We are going to do it a different color. Fur brown. Sorry, I'm trying to find a good. I'm gonna try this. Let's do this one. So this is Kharadron flesh tone. Yeah, we're gonna do more of a flesh tone, I think, with this. We might put some leather brown in with it, but we're gonna do this little tone right here first. Just all nice and mixed. Almost there. Close it, start mixing it again. Nice and mixed up. There we go. That's better. Okay. So, we're going to put aside our janky brush. And we are going to grab our other brush here. I can actually grab it. There we go. Okay, so we're going to grab this one. We're going to get some on the edge. We're going to wipe off any excess stuff. And we're just going to come in here and over the top of these. So the browns that we kind of splashed on it is going to give it a little bit of personality here. Hit all these little spots, and it's going to immediately start to pool because I haven't painted it with anything else. We're going to grab these, and we're going to do the same thing to these scrolls. We're just going to go over them. I'm going to get it on everything else because I have to. Shoot. Well, we're going to have to go back over that with brown. That's fine. But we're just going to kind of like do this with along the edges. Right along here. I'm going to do it at the top of this scroll. I'm going to have to use a smaller brush for that one. I got a bundle of scrolls right here. I'll keep doing that with. Just like that. I'm not going to worry about streaking. I'm not going to worry about anything like that yet. Because I kind of want it to see what it looks like when it's just put on there. I think it looks really good. That's what we're going to do. So it's going to be a nice little different color pop to them. We got one right there that I'm working on here. I probably should break out a more detailed brush for, but oh well. There we go. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks really good. This one right here, and that one right there. And we got one right here. And we're just gonna go through and just completely touch them up. That's all scroll stuff right there. There we go. Just like that. So now we got a whole entire set now of scrolls. We're gonna kinda, now that we decided on the color, we're gonna come back here on this back side. Paint over it also. Just like that. Then we got one more that I missed. That we're gonna do. There we go. Perfect! Nicely done here. Now that is different. That's exactly what we wanted right there. I'm gonna set that off to the side. I'm gonna check our time here. Let's see. My music is okay. Rinse off the brush. Sorry about that. Had to check the time and see what we got going here. Shut our paint jar. We're gonna have to fix this paint jar. So sometimes paint will dry in there. So what we do is we grab something like this, and we can go in. We can just kind of like pry out all that dried stuff. There we go. Just like that. And that'll shut better. Okay, so we can put that one off to the side for right now. We're gonna go back to our armor stand. Armor / shield stand / weapon stand. Okay, so here comes the tricky part with this one. We got a lot of silver to paint on, and I mean a lot. Really shake this one up here. I'm a big fan of using this much silver. I think it's gonna look good. We just gotta go through and do it. We're going to get most of the weapons. And I mean, some of these we can probably put little specks of paint for like details and stuff like that. But we're going to have to go over some of this with this shining silver and stuff like that. So. Oh yeah, that's going to look really good. Okay. And we want a very tiny brush here. This brush is extremely small. Like, very, very small. This is exactly the kind that we want here. So we're going to grab, quite literally, just a little bit here. Go in here. We're just going to touch these rivets. Just touch. We're just barely painting them. I know the camera's not really picking it up very well, but we're literally just tapping each one of these little rivets right here. Make it look nice and silvery. We're just being extra gentle. We're being very patient with it. Sure our brush is loaded up enough with it. Okay, there's that one. We'll go move on to the next one. This one's got a little bit less, but it's still the same. Grab just a little bit at a time. Go in and tap it. Tap it. Come over here to this side. Do the same thing. We're going to tap it. Tap it. Tap it. Tap it. Really hard to see, I know, but this is a very important step. This is part of painting. You gotta be very careful, very gentle. Sometimes you're gonna make mistakes, and that's fine too. You wait until it's dry, and you go back over it to get it fixed. See, like that right there, I kind of messed that up, so we're gonna have to go back in with the gold and paint it later. But that's fine. Gotta do this one. It's in this one too. Touch. That one. That one. There. There we go. Okay, I think that's all of them that we're gonna get right now. And that's what I want to do. Okay, so we're gonna very gently wash this off. Dry it off. Put the cap back on. So we are at about the 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20 minute mark. We're going to go ahead and stop there for today. I'm going to try to stream Friday night. We're going to try to do painting again. Pick up where we left off and everything. Get all 3 in here. Kind of like a showing right here. What we've got going on. We're going to come back in. We're going to do the detail work with all the rivets and all the edges and the hinges and stuff. We're going to finish up the base coating on him, get his belly and his legs and his arms painted, and we're going to come back in with the extra silver and get that one all done. We're going to try to do that Friday. I can't guarantee that we will, but I finally got everything set up for painting and everything like that, so I think that's what we're going to do. If you guys like what you're watching and stuff like that, please give me a like. Tell me what you like about it and everything else. Hopefully the music wasn't too loud, because I did a quick check, and hopefully this video is not ruined. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Hopefully this was a good midweek break for you. I want you guys to have a relaxing week, and I will see you guys Friday. Bye!